You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's R&B Divas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's R&B Divas After Show.
Well. Here we go once again. Sorry we've been out for 2 weeks, but we about to kick off right now R&B Divas Atlanta Reunion Part 2. What do you guys think about Mr. Joe Claire and his... I mean, pretty much...
How about we just kick his ass out somewhere?
Pretty much, Joe Claire, we are resigning you of your position after Buzz and reunion shows. But I think, you know, they kind of accomplished a little bit more than last week overall. But at the same time, I think that, you know...
Oh, sorry.
I beg to differ. They ain't accomplished nothing.
I mean, the only thing they really accomplished is that, who's coming back for season 3? Nobody really knows. That's crazy. Nobody really knows. They got a job next season. But then also the issue between Selena and Nikki. And I think, like, Selena kind of expressed her issues with Nikki and the overall thing being that, oh, the wizard, that we still don't even know who the magical wizard is. So, you know, she expressed her feelings that, you know, she did a lot of mistakes and everything, whereas that she apologized for her actions, which as an adult, I think that is a great thing, because anytime you make a mistake, especially on public, in anybody's eyes, you should basically kind of have the ability to come back and apologize to someone.
And we apologize to you guys. So welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. We're doing the AFTERBUZZ reunion for R&B Divas, and I'm Bamm Ericsen.
I'm Alfred Thomas.
And I'm Larice Peoples.
We sorry, we just had to go in because this show has so much we need to talk about, gentlemen. I'll start from the top. Joe Claire lost control of his show.
Yes.
And basically someone made the proper decision to take him off it for a while, try to get him together and put Cheryl Lee Ralph on.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great move. I don't know if he felt like he couldn't handle the situation and needed to run away, but either you made a good move of saying, take me off for a bit, or the producers, the wizards, came in and finally did something right.
But what was interesting, and just we have a treat for you guys. So in addition to doing the R&B Divas Atlanta Reunion Part 2, we're going to also then go dive into R&B Divas LA, the season premiere, which happened last night. So we're excited. So we have a lot to discuss. But when they started, it was behind the scenes. Obviously, the cameras had stopped rolling, but they were still taping behind the scenes. There's all this bickering going back and forth, and Nikki walks up, and she walks out the set. Selena's going off. She's saying what she's got to say, and I like how she said, Selena goes, your casket ready, your foul, and so is your outfit and your tie.
And sure enough, she took off that big old flower.
She did.
And then Kiki Wyatt is like, it's not that serious, and Selena's like, no, and then all you hear is a bunch of cussing. But the reaction to Joe Claire, did you see how he was looking, sitting there? He was like this.
I mean, he was kind of in a position where he didn't really know what to do or how to control the situation, where you just kind of let, I'm just going to let him fight. It's like two dogs fighting in the street. What do? You just let them go at it till somebody get tired enough and walk away from the situation. But
that looked like a dude in the hood with 2 ratchet females talking about which one had his baby, and it got so extreme that he just sat there like, ugh, in the middle of the porch, just.
Yeah, I think like really choosing Joe Claire was a poor choice as of really trying to controlling the show and controlling the reunion itself. He didn't ask the right questions for the women to really kind of like clear up a lot of issues that they had in the whole season.
And the fact that he says, well, the divas ain't listening to me, maybe they'll listen to her. So Cheryl Lee Ralph was supposed to do a different segment where they talk about the episode in which she appeared for her charity event for the AIDS benefit, but because it was so out of control, they decided to ask if Cheryl would come in and intervene. For me, again, as I said 2 weeks ago, part 1 I felt was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
I could have been doing anything. I could have been sitting, shopping, eating a bowl of ice cream. I could have been doing anything. But I felt like this was a waste of my 42 minutes because they don't want to answer questions. Why the hell are you at a reunion to wrap up what the season was for if you don't want to answer questions?
Because Nikki the executive producer and she can do whatever she wants. She can pretty much just like
the weakest executive producer I've ever seen in my life.
But I want to say, like, when Cheryl Lee Ralph came in, she kind of took control of the situation and asked, real great questions. Even when they start to bicker, she's like, hold up, y'all need to stop arguing. I'm in control right now. So I just think that was big ups to Cheryl Lee Ralph over Joe Claire.
She had better questions, or she at least led the women into talking about situations a little bit more informative than when Joe Claire was. Because I mean, I honestly, when the dude came back, he had what in total, I think no more. Probably like 5, no more than 8 questions he brought to the interview.
And his questions were terrible. But before we get to that, so the thing that Cheryl Lee Ralph basically she tried to attempt to is get to Selena and Nikki. So she asked Selena, how does she see herself? And she said that, that she and then everybody starts crying. I'm like, oh, for real?
It goes from a bunch of angry black women to everybody get your moment in tears so that we can at least get people to like us again.
But look at the issue they was crying about. It was the whole, like, the AIDS issue. And a lot of them...
No. They weren't crying about that because what happened was when Cheryl Lee Ralph asked Selena, about how did she view herself watching the show, she said, this is not what I signed up for. I'm a singer, I'm an artist, and the purpose is to share her gift, and she has to defend herself when she feels like she's being bullied. Now, as to how this all became a trickle effect and everybody started crying, particularly Nikki, being that Selena was basically pointing a finger at her, was there something in the...
I just think Nikki just pretty much... Again, she always try to play the victim card where they feel like everybody's after her, everybody's attacking her. But at the end of the day, I just feel like she's still the same person no matter what. She's the conniving person. She's the person who's really going to feel like she's the victim all the time. And she's the person that's really gonna feel like, I need self-pity. I'm gonna always be the person. I'm gonna be two people. I'm gonna be the person that either cry, I'm gonna be the person that either like out-talk each individual to make it seem like, I don't want you to talk, I'm gonna out-talk you. So it's just like that issue with Nikki.
I think for some people, when they're on these reality TV shows, which if you ever get blessed to be in a situation where you're on a TV show, know your true self before you get on there. I think that's the most important thing. The entertainment industry, the producers, the wizards, or whatever, they can easily manipulate people or put you in positions to where you look at this is the only pass I'm giving Nikki. I think she got over her head. She got this new project. She put on these girls. She thought she was a boss. She found out she really wasn't a boss. Some people, when they get on in front of those lights, in front of those cameras, they give themselves a pass of I'm involved in the show. This is me on the show. This isn't the real me. But then when they get caught up, and in Nikki's case, it was majorly caught up with seeing her choose to do her friends the way they did and her business the way she has. I think it became like she's just naive to the game. She didn't, maybe when she was just doing the stuff for
I have to disagree with you, Mr. Black, and I think it's BS.
I'm trying to give it a pass.
I can't. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you. I think it's BS. When Shirley asked how did she come across, she said it was an embarrassment to my mother. And I feel like because her mother got the slack, because you know what happens when you show your ass on TV, everyone goes to your mom and be like, what's wrong with your child? So now she's embarrassed because now she has to own up to her actions, which I don't feel like she's doing. That's my problem with that. Then she goes on to say how there's not one person in her life that recognized the person that the person who she was portrayed on TV. Now, she did say that Faith is the only person that has said publicly that's not her. I was there. I have heard Faith say that's not who Nikki is. But I'm sorry, Nikki Gilbert, but you said a couple things that you lost me. You said that I've never cursed anybody out, not Monifa, not Selena. I've never get loud. That is the biggest damn lie I have ever heard. Let's go back to season 1. In season 1, when Keke Wyatt was having the baby shower, she took over and she wanted to run things. She was telling people what to do, and her famous "Let me finish" with the whole finger thing. The finger motion. Let me finish. You're talking loud. to Selena, you've talked loud to everybody, you talk loud to Angie Stone. So for you to lie and say that you never talk loud, you're lying, you're not owning up. And then for the fact that you said that you never cursed anybody out, it's a freaking lie. I'm so over Nikki. Like, seriously.
I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, like a lot of times people are just so embarrassed about the things that they do that, you know, they have a tendency, like, they want to forget, so they want everyone else to forget about it. So that's probably the reason why she's like, oh, I never did this, I never did this. But we've seen it, season 1 and especially season 2, you know, a lot of things that she did I felt was disrespectful to a lot of the girls, a lot of the women and the divas on the show, disrespectful to her mom also, I'm pretty sure. But at the same time, as a person, she's not gonna be the person that owns up to the things that she does. She's gonna brush it under the rug, be like, I give you like a simple apology to make you feel like I'm sorry, but deep down inside, I don't feel like she's sorry. Even though Faith probably said, this is not the Nikki Gilbert that I know, but you don't know her behind closed door. You know her on a professional level, and a lot of time when you kind of out with people, they never gonna show you their true color 100% all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to give it. Like I said, I think when you get up in the big cameras and the big lights, I think she just got over herself. And I mean, it's true. She totally found a political way to answer all questions or veer around it to get her to be in a position of looking like a victim. But I think she's just as naive as well as responsible for herself. But I think she is a little bit going in there, getting caught up in the lights, and then making her own like excuses for it.
But Black, the excuses are ridiculous.
I said it was justified.
Okay, I know. But and then she also said that that's not who she is, and that it's the producers' fault, and that producers don't like me. I want to cuss right now. I'm just.
Like, you're the executive producer. How the producers do not like you?
It's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you can't really say the producers don't like. I mean, that's just the person that she is. We've seen the true Nikki Gilbert, season 1. Season 2 really kind of like, you know, dug into Nikki as a person, as an individual, and what type of characteristic that she has, and the thing that she's capable of doing. So if she does come back for season 3, I think it's going to just be more and more drama for her on season 3.
What's also just annoying, like, as I was watching the show trying to take notes, there's so many answers that I feel was not.
Nothing was answered.
Nothing was answered. And so when they go into just a moment, she's saying, this is not me, this is not me, this is not me. Then the next segment, they ask about the whole tour thing and the whole thing with Angie. Then she goes from, it's the producer's fault, it's the producer's fault. Then she goes back to regular Nikki self, and then she starts saying how you offended me because you came to my place of business, you went so to my daughter, her charity. But first of all, someone mentioned on YouTube, and I'm sorry that I don't have the name with me, but someone mentioned that why wasn't Nikki's daughter at the charity event, and it's her daughter's event?
That is a great question.
There are so many questions that was not asked. And then another thing which I felt was a little, when they started speaking about the whole tour thing, and there's just always this up and down thing. Nikki, how come Nikki was never asked when she denied that her charity event were gonna have producers there and promoters? It was on camera. It was on camera. No one questioned her. And then another thing that annoyed me about, go ahead.
But at the same time, I mean, when you kind of speak about the tour, where she kind of like rejected the whole Selena sister like want to put together a tour, but even with the charity event, she said, oh, well, you know, it's a great opportunity for Brownstone to go back on tour and for the Divas to perform to her. So there's a lot of unanswered questions, because that's a question that should have been basically like brought up to the table that should have been asked. One is that why you present that your daughter have a charity and it was not even established yet. So Angie's not wrong for even asking the question of, you know, why the charity is not even established. You know, because that's the first thing when you ask someone, okay, cool, like, can you do something for my charity? Can you do something for my business? But I don't have a business yet. So what are you really asking people for? You're asking for a favor to do something for you, you know. And then also with the whole Brownstone tour, again, it's the same thing Selena want to do, and I think Nikki, what it is, she just wants to be in control of everything, and she just lost control over the show. So she just started to be spiteful to each and every single person on the show to basically be like, you know, I'm still gonna be the top person, because if I can't be, you know, the angel on the show, I'm gonna be the devil on the show. So she had to basically figure out what is her place and what is, you know, what does she really represent, you know, for R&B Divas Atlanta.
I mean, which also I think with the Divas being there, they should have been able to. I don't know why they didn't bring up those questions. Forget giving on putting everything on Joe Claire. There were some things that were being talked about that you could literally tell that nobody was opening up about or opening their mouths about. I mean, I feel like, again, with that situation with Nikki and Angie, I think she further established herself as a more sane and more level-headed person of the group by, you know, except for that white chalkboard and bringing it out again and it just being so.
And the whole thing with when she wrote "Let It Go," when they were getting ready to ask the question, the question Nikki wanted to answer in regards to the email blast. Nikki was getting ready to respond. Miss Angie Stone has to go put up her board and says, "Let it go." No, Angie, we don't want to let this go because we are here investing our time, 42 minutes. We want to know the answers to this email blast.
But at the same time, that was up to Joe Claire to be like, okay, cool, Angie, that's great. But at the same time, Nikki answered the question. You know, it really kind of goes back to, one, I wouldn't even blame Joe Claire, but it goes back to the executive producers who really basically like allow him to ask those questions, who's basically who they should have more detailed questions for the viewers. You know, to give them some type of insight why all of this happened. If it was the Wizard considered the producers, you know, those questions should have been answered.
Yeah. Well,
I just feel like overall the reunion show was poorly done. I felt like there was a lack of guests. I feel like there were so many people involved with different storylines. I didn't know why Rocco was brought on. You don't have Mike. Why you don't have the daughter. Why you don't have, you know, like just having Monifa's girl and Rocco come on as guests, I think was weak.
It was
Cheryl Lee
weak,
Ralph,
and
everything was weak.
Michael was there, but he didn't want to come out. So at least Rocky said that he admitted to calling him a bitch because of his actions of how he went and he blabbed. But he says that once he got to know, but that
makes sense.
That makes sense. It totally makes sense for
But
you
at
to
the
go.
same time, like, it really didn't like make any sense for the reunion, because like Michael's not there. Rocky shouldn't have came out just for him to be like, oh, I'm gonna we apologize like for calling Michael a bitch. But at the same time, it's like y'all friends off camera right now, so that it had really like no pertinence to like why is Rocky here?
Trying to show that men can deal with their issues and get along.
Yeah, I mean, they
But the show's about R&B Diva. It's not about Rocky and Michael mending their relationship for him calling him a bitch. I mean, sorry. Even with Monifa girlfriend, it's kind of like, okay, well, she's here, glad to see you, but she has no like relevant for even being like in the reunion, because it's all about the divas and hashing out the issues that kind of took place throughout the season.
Well,
That's just my thing.
Any final thoughts before I give some quick gossip or some news?
I mean, I hope season 3 is a lot better. I hope everybody come back, be able to work together as one. Again, this tour, everybody's still looking for the tour, so hopefully they get the tour together. Hopefully on the next reunion, they have a better host. They be able to ask a lot of different questions to give answers to a lot of the viewers. And I really think that Nikki should basically like really
not come back. And Latasha, she said she's gonna pray about it. So that, to me, that sounds like she's not coming back. They didn't really utilize her, and she sat there the entire time. And Joe, it was yeah, okay.
Yeah, she didn't really have she had a small portion. The biggest thing about Latasha this season was the 20th year anniversary for So Def and the meeting with Jermaine Dupri. Well,
and some good news for R&B Divas Atlanta. It boosts TV ratings, and so according to TVOne, the series has helped create a 34% year-over-year increase in viewership since its return in May.
But what are their blood pressure levels now? That's what I would like to know.
Well, the Part 1 reunion that aired on June 26, it had a .67 rating among adults of 25 to 44, delivering 414,000 viewers between the ages of 25 to 54, and then it had an overall of .91 household rating, delivering a total of 522,000 views. So good job, TVOne and R&B Divas.
That's the people's lives out.
All right, so, and do we have anything else before we go into R&B Divas LA?
Joe Claire, do comedy, or do a video countdown show, or do like one of those college bring bling or
Something.
you know what I'm saying, somebody homecoming, but
more
stay
reunion.
your butt away from the R&B Divas.
All right.
Or at least watch the show if you're gonna do it.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to return with R&B Divas Season 1 of L.A.
Cause we got
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after-shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
awful.
I guess I ain't got no reason to mingle around. I found a superwoman that could leap from the tribe and sing
like
down.
everybody
Mommy,
in that
I'm
group
trying
right
to blame
now.
you down. Some niggas without shades
All right,
on.
everybody, we are back again with AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Larice Peoples.
I'm Bamm Ericsen.
And I am Alfred Thomas.
And we are bringing you tonight the R&B Divas LA, the season premiere tonight. What do y'all guys think, man? I think like this song right here says it all. It's like upbeat. I loved it. Everybody was great. You know, I'm really interested in seeing the whole entire season.
I feel like it's a refreshing cast.
Yeah.
And they look pretty. They look like they smell good. You know what I'm saying? When you think about R&B Divas Atlanta and Kiki, I'm thinking about farts and pig feet and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden I feel like I smell roses.
I mean, literally, when I saw it, I was kind of like it literally changed my opinion about R&B Divas because it's a different tempo. All the ladies seem to be a lot more classier. They understand what they want. Again, it's the first season premiere. Even though we know it's going to be a lot of drama.
But it embodied so much, and so it broke down who all of the artists was. To start off, obviously, with Kelly Price and her manager Jeffrey. What up, Jeffrey? And they were inside the house, and they were and first of all, Kelly Price is she's an R&B singer. She got her background. She got her start singing background from Mariah Carey. If you remember on the Unplugged, on the I'll Be There with Trey Lorenz, one of the background singers that was Kelly Price. Then she started doing backup for R. Kelly, Aretha Franklin, 112, and she just kind of worked her way until she eventually got her contract with Def Jam Recording, and she came out with a hit single, Friend of Mine. So she has a huge catalog.
Yeah.
And then she's also known for More Money, More Problems on Notorious B.I.G.
And we can dance. Is that her?
That's Faith Evans.
Oh, which one's the one with her skating?
Oh,
And the
that
big old
with,
pink.
yeah, with Jermaine Dupri. I forgot the name of the song, but yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about, people.
And so Kelly Price started back in 2012. She had a Grammy party where she had a bunch of R&B singers featured. Larice and I, we were actually at that event.
Yeah,
and
we was. Covered the red
And
carpet.
we covered it, and we saw all of the divas at the time. We didn't know what was going on,
we
but
did.
yeah, we pretty much got to see all of them. And so Kelly wanted to start doing the showcase where she features new talent and just talent in R&B music as well. So then Shantae Moore comes over, and so Shantae Moore is also an R&B
Still looking
singer
good.
she's also a singer from the 90s, and her hits was It's Alright.
Shantae Moore.
Shantae's got a man.
Shantae's got a man, and Love's
No, she
taking
don't
over.
right now. Shantae, girl. Shantae.
And she was married to Kenny Lattimore and Kadeem Hardison,
And he talked
who
nothing
played
about him in that little
Dwayne
intro.
Wayne of a different world.
He
And
must
so
have hurt her bad.
So we can just go right into Shantae Moore. So her story is the divorce papers are signed, sealed, and they're mailed off. And her and Kenny has been together for, I believe, 10 or 11 years.
They're such a
10
beautiful
years.
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
were.
ain't gonna lie.
And so it's over. And so she says she's a little bitter about it, but she's willing to date but not do any serious commitment relationships, obviously, because she's been married. She's been married for 10 years, and then in addition to that, then she was married to Kadeem Hardison, in which she has Dwayne. And so I thought that was really cool. And so the two of them have a conversation. Kelly and Shantae have a conversation about the open mic. I can tell Shantae Moore's about to give you a little fire, because she was like, okay, and who are these other people? Like she already had her guard up. She kind of had
she gonna be the sassy one on the show. I really think so.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, I think Shantae, like, she's really in it to win it. To where her attitude is like, okay, well, just let me know what's going on. If it sounds great, she's like the Kiki.
Yeah.
If it sounds great, you know, I'm about being a part of it and making sure that it's successful. That's what I think of Shantae Moore.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
And then so Don Robinson was introduced. Don Robinson is one of the singers from En Vogue. I can't say she was a lead singer because all four of the girls, they were lead singers. But the songs that she led was "Giving Him Something He Can Feel," "My Love and You're Never Gonna Get It,"
remember that back in the days, boy.
And "Don't Let Go." Don't Let Go from the Set It Off soundtrack.
Yeah.
And she was also a member of Lucy Pearl with Raphael Sadiq. And so the reason that her departure from En Vogue was because of money.
She like, I wasn't making no money.
I heard her say in another interview that they were getting 2 cents to every dollar.
2 cents? Man, that's
I don't know if she was being facetious, but she said they weren't making any money. So
robbed.
So therefore, that was the reason that she's left.
I mean, you got to be careful what type of contract you sign.
Yeah.
You
Watch
know,
your business.
make sure you understand your business.
And then let's talk about Little Mo. So Little Mo, she said Beyonce is here, and I don't have the machine to get there, but she's on her way. She's in LA. She's married. And she's ready to get her,
Hey, but
she's ready to get her crib back.
But you know what? It's like you really haven't heard anything from like Little Mo in such a long time. But you know her expectation is real high because like she want to kind of reach like Beyonce's level. But at the same time, you gotta look at it like, okay, well, you haven't put anything out the past 10 years?
Well, she's put out. I think her last CD was probably like 2007, but she made a lot of guest appearances on Hot Boys with Missy Elliott. She was
That's 2000.
well, I'm giving her big hits. Forever with Fabulous.
But I think her Lil Mo represents the epitome of people who have true bold talent, who are out there, who try. And I mean, it is an industry that has a lot of different factors that come into play when it comes to actual, number counts, when it comes to success and what you're able to expose yourself to. And I think you can tell by the way she comes off. I don't think she's the easiest person to work with or be around. Like, she looks like a strong energy, and a lot that can help, but it also can hurt you. And I can't wait to see how the show develops, to see how that evolves into what her story is. But I still feel like she's always been one of the best singers. You could throw her name out with.
And not to discredit her, but people like Beyonce and Mariah, they don't really take breaks. A break for them is like 6 months. So you've been gone a long time, Little Mo. So if you want to,
I'm like, I had a baby and I'm back at it.
But I'm glad to see she's back. She sounds great.
You know what? The interesting thing about all these divas is really to understand, later on in the year to kind of see, is anybody gonna put out an album?
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing because because you kind of take like R&B Divas Atlanta, nobody put an album out yet. 2 seasons, nobody had an album.
Selena's she's on the cusp.
She's on the cusp. But at the same time, I want to make sure that, hey, are they gonna put an album out? Anybody R&B Divas LA, this is something that we should really reach into. Our fans should really kind of tweet us about. Even go to like iTunes and make sure you go to iTunes and send us messages, because we want to kind of know what are your thoughts, what are your feelings about the R&B Divas LA and about the R&B Divas as a whole. If anybody can put an album out, and if so, like, who would you want to put albums out? Make sure you download the iTunes podcast on your iPad, your Galaxy tablet, your iPhones, your S4s, whichever mobile device that you have. Make sure you go to iTunes and basically get the AfterBuzz app. Rate us, comment us, let us know what we need to improve on. But it's a serious question out there. Let us know if you want any of the R&B divas to actually put an album out? And if so, which one you want to put an album out first?
Let's go into, speaking of albums, let's go into Michel'le. Now, her story.
Let's have a moment for her voice. And where did that come from?
Hey, her voice is like amazing. Like literally, she like.
No. He's talking
about the talk voice, not the same voice. Don't get twisted.
Talk about what she be talking about. I'm like, man, where did the chipmunks come from?
Our engineer Marissa knew who she was through the music, but when we were watching, she was like, "Oh my God, is that how she really talks?"
Yes.
I think I did some research. People really thought her voice, that was a whole gimmick, that she spoke like that kind of as a gimmick.
But I think it's a Michael Jackson thing. I think they talk like that to keep their voice a certain way. That's because, I mean,
we're gonna do research and development.
When you ever sing, that's a full-on strong voice. So it's, for me, I'm like, if you could sing like that, you could talk like that. It's just like talking like this forever.
Larice and I. Michel'le was at the Grammy party last year for Kelly Price, and when we interviewed her, she talked in that same voice. And another guy who was affiliated with who we were doing the interviews with, she kind of read him. She kind of gave it to him because he was asking questions, and she's like, wait. She's like, boy, stop texting me them questions. Get on my face with the camera. Like, I can't really.
Like that, that's her voice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of amazing though because she has such a squeaky voice, but she also has such a powerful voice when she's like singing. You can really feel that she's a genuine artist and she loves what she does.
But let's get to her backstory. So she has a
what a story it is.
She has a son by Dr. Dre. She was on tour with MC Hammer, and in the middle of the tour, she found out that she was 3 months pregnant with Dre's baby, which is a son. Then later,
I think you meant Suge.
No.
She had a baby with Dre first because Dre was the one that produced her album, and she was with that whole. She was with the whole camp. Then after that, after it didn't work out with Dre, then she got with Suge Knight, got married, and then she found out by the IRS and FBI that their marriage was not legit. But she has a daughter who's 10 years old. So
with Suge Knight.
And just on a side note, I had a friend of mine who actually used to someone they used to visit, and so she would see Michel'le visiting Suge Knight in prison as well. So yeah.
I mean, you know,
so she has back.
It's the love. It's the love thing.
But who would want to be the next boyfriend knowing that's behind that kind of other than Dre and them Dre beats? I'd be like, I'm nervous.
I mean, but at the same time, I think Michel'le, she's a really great, you know, like, I'm really kind of interested to see what's going to happen with her.
And she's really saucy. She said, you know, you don't have to be in love to make a baby. It's just sex.
Yeah.
So, and just from what we've seen
I'm going to use that comment. People like, girl, you don't have to be in love.
But I ain't trying to make no babies.
We ain't making no babies.
And so then Don Robinson's in the studio, and she's recording her album, and then she hears this girl on the singing in the studio with a guitar, and it is Claudette Ortiz, who is from the member of City High.
And got better with time, y'all.
Man,
that's a wine of a woman.
Yeah, and her two hit singles was "What Would You Do" and "Caramel," and Wyclef Jean was a mentor. But she had an interesting story too, because she told Don Robinson when the two of them were conveniently sitting outside at the Grove on 3rd and Fairfax here in LA. She said
having lunch, okay?
Yeah, having lunch, and you could see all the people watching and looking as what's going on.
Yeah.
And so Claudette said that when she was in the group, she first got with Robbie, which was the other member of City High.
Yeah.
And he had alcohol issues, and so he became abusive. And so there to comfort him, in your favorite words, then Ryan Toby, who's the other member who was also in Sister Act with Lauryn Hill and Whoopi Goldberg. He so happened to comfort her and cuffed her. They got married, had 3 kids, and now they're divorced, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
divorced. And she moved out to LA from my great city, New Jersey. So she moved out to LA to pursue her career in acting and music. And it's just, like, again, it's so convenient that Don kind of saw her in the studio, invited her out to kind of like, you know, come hang out with me. So it was kind of a great thing, you know, for her.
Storyline wise, I thought it was very cheesy setup, but I mean, production wise, for the intro of this show, I fed into it, especially with the experience from R&B Divas Atlanta and how the storylines kind of folded. I thought it was a little Oh, set up the cameras. Oh, she's gonna come in and say hi. Oh, what's up, girl? This good thing going on tonight.
And then
I thought, that was playful.
Yeah,
but it was a good setup. If I was a little kid, I wouldn't think like I think now.
Yeah.
So I didn't necessarily.
But wait, okay, let me ask this question. So they exchanged numbers on the iPhones, and she's like, hey, I want you to be a part of this open mic with Kelly Price. Kelly Price invited you, Don Robinson. How, isn't there rules? And like if, Larice, if you're having a party and you invite me, I don't just say, hey, Black, Larice is having a party. You should, don't you ask first?
But at the same time, Kelly, the thing about the open mic, it wasn't just for like people who are established in the industry. It's for individuals who like, hey, here's an opportunity for independent artists and everything. And
there's a sign up. I'm just saying, there's a sign up. There's a waiting list.
I mean, but at the same time, like, I trust your good character and your good judgment. You wouldn't bring anybody to my house that's gonna basically like tear up my house or tear up my party. And that's the thing with Dawn. Probably felt like, hey, Kelly probably felt like, well, if Dawn bring her, okay, she's okay with me. And I think it was just that type of setup. Besides, who not want to bring Claudette? She's so beautiful. Like, literally, like, beautiful.
Well, if it was R&B Divas Atlanta, it would have been
totally
different story. So.
He disrespecting me, and don't talk to me about it.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought it was great. Even though the setup, it was kind of like, oh, I'm in the studio, you in the studio, but then they, she kind of tell her backstory to Dawn or what happened. And again, another woman possibly scorned. We don't know what really happened because she's like, I don't want to talk about it. Cause every time I talk about it, it's like I'm reliving the situation. But a lot of people kind of go through that type thing. But again, Claudette, it's one of those things you just have to let go, no matter how many times you talk about it. And a lot of times when you talk about things, it actually like allows you to be more free from the things that kind of bounds you down from your past.
I have to jump on the other side because you weren't there, you don't know, so it's not as it may not be as easy to speak on that, but at least she was able to feel comfort and speak it to Don, because Don was also a part of a very successful group, and there was, it wasn't a nice breakup with En Vogue. So at least the two, they were able to understand each other because they both are members of a group.
Because you must look at it, man. It's the music industry. It's the entertainment industry. It's a hard industry. A lot of people have a lot of ups and downs in the industry, and every breakup is not a good breakup.
The only thing I can say is sometimes I get tired of hearing that kind of stuff. Although it's okay, so the facts are a lot of women go through a lot of relationship, emotional shit that ends up being connected to their careers. I just feel like, I mean, a lot of guys go through things, but I don't think that you have to choose to let everybody know all your business and all your story. I think sometimes what makes you a stronger character is by knowing what stuff to let out into the world or whatnot. So I don't mind it. It just still happens to be most shows where it's a woman in the industry of music that they have this attachment of a horrible relationship.
But one thing.
But if it's true, it's true. So I ain't trying to knock that. I'm just saying I'm tired of seeing it.
One thing that I appreciate within this one episode, we were able to get all the information. Why did Don leave En Vogue?
Yes.
Why did Claudette leave City High? And she left New Jersey. She's got her kids. She can't just pack up and leave because her kids are in school. You got Shantae Moore, who's dealing with her divorce, but it appears that she's still cool with her baby her baby daddy Kadeem Hardison. And then you have Kelly, and well, we don't really know what's going on with Kelly, but we were able to see all of this all within one show, and it was all let out. And so for me, that I found that to be pretty entertaining.
No, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, I think they really kind of broke down the characteristics of everybody. So all the future episodes is gonna be all the encounters that they have now. So it's not gonna be like, oh, let me tell you the backstory about like this what happened in my past. Cause all that's just kind of like it's in the forefront in the season premiere, and everything that's gonna happen now is gonna basically like, okay, cool. This was currently happening in my life right now. This is currently happening with me and the divas of R&B LA, and those are the issues that we're gonna kind of face, which is a great thing.
And what I thought was random, but I thought it was a good moment because, well, okay, Don and Michelle at the dance studio with Tony, some choreographer by the name of Tony. Now, they was doing a little moves, a little two-stepping, but it's kind of that same moment when Nikki had needed the choreographers for her show. Like, Don, you knew you weren't about to get up and shoo-wop and doo-wop and two-step. And Michelle, you stood there with the mic stand.
Being cute. I mean, but it's just like one of those things that, like, I play sports. Like, if I didn't play sports in 20 years, you know, I'm gonna try to get somebody like, you know, I'm not used to all the new techniques and stuff that kind of happens. Cause like she said, my daughter's like 10 years old. She know all the fast stuff, and she be trying to teach me everything, and I just can't get the hang of it. It's just something that just happened. Everybody want to kind of be new, hip, and new. It's something new for them because again, it's a show about themselves, about them really kind of rebranding themselves, and about their new music. So they're gonna try to like change. They can only change with so much.
Yeah, but
Who does choreography for open mic though?
that was my whole point. I didn't.
I mean, but at the same time, they want to make sure they look good.
No, that wasn't something.
They just want to make sure they look good.
For me,
I'm going against y'all right now.
I felt like, I'm sorry, but I felt like they could have
crazy.
used a different medium. But then again, they've already, you know, Little Mo already had her wine, or she called her True Juice. There was already the drinking segment. There was always already the dinner. So maybe they couldn't figure out. But I still appreciate it because the point of that conversation is that Don wants kids.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's something we're going to see later on in the episode. Let's get into the open mic.
Yeah.
Let's get into open mic. Before we get into that, did you guys see Norwood? Do you know who that is? He's always in the blogs.
I didn't see him though.
Oh, he has like, okay, well, he has like tons of plastic surgery. He has like this really big hair, and he's on the red carpet. He's in the blogs, but nobody knows what he does. Anyway, go ahead.
I didn't see
He's
him.
another wizard.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was at the Savoy in Inglewood, which is
Shouts out to the Savoy.
Yes,
Get
we've
down
all-
with the get down.
Yes. We've all been there, and so open mic, and so Kelly opens up with "Ain't Nobody," which she sung that for the Bring It Down House soundtrack, which is originally sung by Shaka Khan. So Kelly,
thing.
she did her thing.
Yeah.
I think everybody did it.
You know,
I just think that overall, you know, everybody was just like, oh, I don't want to go up behind Kelly, but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like
Kelly. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Kelly, I mean, Kelly obviously could have really killed, but she was medium. But
Yeah.
a medium for Kelly is like fantastic. And then Claudette got up, and what was interesting was Kelly and Shantae didn't know who she was. And then once they heard her voice, because she sung Caramel,
Yeah.
and she
City.
Yeah, she
I
sounded
know
great.
her. Yeah, I mean, I just think that all the divas actually did great. Claudette, I mean, like, her voice is like amazing. I mean, it's always good to see individuals who have not seen in such a long time, or who have not been in the light of music in such a long time, to come out and they still have that. They still have the vocal. They still can perform. And I think that's the essence of the show, is that hey, these are divas who still have the talent.
Shantae Moore. I want to just go over Shantae Moore's song "It's Alright," and when she got into the whistle register. And Kelly was like, you know, when people hear singers going to the upper register, they always sing Mariah Carey. There are a lot of R&B singers. Shantae Moore's one, Shanice Wills. There's a lot of girls who can get up in that upper whistle register.
Man,
she wasn't up there for like 2-3 seconds.
she was
right.
I was like, man, like she is whoa. Like my facial expression just changed. Like,
And then she had the musicians, you know, fall on her with the hands. I mean,
it was entertaining.
I think in general, these women have a greater talent than R&B Divas Atlanta. I'm sorry. I think their runs in the little transition sections were way better. I thought their voices and their songs were sung way better. I thought their performances were way better.
I gotta hold off on that right now.
I'm telling you, other than Kiki. You can go blow for blow. If I had two teams, I would be on team
LA.
Like if I was with the Lakers, chilling with Kobe when he had Shaq.
I mean, I don't know. Like it's still early.
Well,
I'm telling you, other than a few, like as a team as a whole, I think they can sing together
As a team
way
as a whole,
better.
yeah.
I agree.
I go
Yeah.
for the team gathering.
And then Don Robertson, she got up and did "Giving Him Something He Could Feel," which is one of the popular
most
songs
famous
for En Vogue when they had on the sexy red dresses.
Yeah.
She did a good job. Michelle Leigh did a good job.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is you had Michelle Leigh, you had Claudette, you had Don, you had some of these girls who was really nervous about getting up and doing an open mic. And Michelle Leigh did really good. And you could tell although she has that soft voice, she has a very powerful voice because she was this far away from the mic and she was belting out something in my heart. So that just goes to show that, you know, although these girls are nervous, they're true singers. I have to just go to Little Mo really quick. She did Forever, which is one of the hottest songs that I like from her.
Oh, yeah.
And then she went Church of God. She went Church of God in Christ, and she went to I Love to Praise Him. I'm a Baptist boy myself, so we sung that on many Sunday mornings at El Bethel Missionary Baptist Church.
But it was such a great transition because she didn't miss a beat. And she just kind of went on. Everybody really kind of like enjoyed the show. I think the open mic show, it was so great, and it's such a great opening for the R&B Divas LA that I think we just have a lot more to really experience with each individual of the show, where we're really gonna like enjoy their voices, we're gonna understand the problems that they have, and that we really gonna just love the show. I think it's one of those things where that I feel like I'm gonna love the show.
And I think, again, what you were saying is, I think each singer brings a great, unique quality to the show compared to, I don't know, I felt like R&B Divas Atlanta, it was more of the same kind of sounding people. Whereas this, I think each one has a caricature that could probably flow really great within each other. So I was like, okay, like that whole open mic series of songs was like pleasant. That could be in my CD deck right now.
And we all were very familiar with not only the songs, but we were familiar with who they were as an artist, and then we got to know even more their personal background. So I felt like this episode gave me everything that it took 2 seasons for R&B Divas Atlanta to do, and R&B Divas LA did it all in 1 episode.
I just think overall you got to kind of look at, you know, the concept of the show and how that they pretty much recreate the show from R&B Divas Atlanta. I think R&B Divas Atlanta, like the season 3, should be just as good as the first season of R&B Divas LA, just because of the simple fact.
These chicks.
I mean, just because the whole concept of it, you know, they look at all the mistakes that kind of took place in R&B Diva Atlanta and kind of brought like, okay, cool, let's not make these mistakes, but let's make it more intriguing. And I think that was probably what made R&B Divas such a great, R&B Divas LA such a great show for the season premiere. You know, because of the controversy and the issues that they have with R&B Divas Atlanta. I hope so. That's what it is. And, you know, they kind of get the piggyback off of R&B Divas LA to help make R&B Divas Atlanta that much better.
All right, well, let's go into some predictions on each of the characters and what we think they're going to bring.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I mean, I think overall, I think between Dawn, Claudia, Shantae, Little Mo, Michelle A, and, you know, and Kelly, I think like everybody's gonna bring a real unique feature, you know, to where it's gonna surprise everyone. It's gonna allow us to learn more about them as individual ladies. We get to understand their problems and their issues that they deal with on the day-to-day, but also it's gonna actually bring just a conflict amongst everyone, because it's not gonna be a show where everybody's gonna get along. I think somebody's gonna have a conflict. I think Shantae Moore is gonna have the first conflict with someone.
I think Lil Mo is gonna be the first conflict.
Her and Shantae Moore.
That is. Ding, ding, ding. But,
I have. Oh, go ahead.
I think I would like to see Claudette Ortiz see what she's gonna try to do to fit within the group, being the newbie kind of person.
And she's younger
I want to
too.
see what the dynamic of their relationships are and how they respect each other. Because it's funny from R&B Divas Atlanta how that played a very major part. I think the way you see people definitely will dictate the way you treat them and the way you're able to relate to whatever they have to say to you. And I feel like there's more unity and balance within this group of women, and I think they are pretty, so I don't mind looking at them. And I may turn down the volume a little bit when Michelle Lee gets on there, but I think when she starts singing, I'm gonna turn it all the way up.
I think she's gonna be a firecracker too.
Everybody turn up.
I think she's gonna be an issue too, though. Michelle A is gonna be an issue.
I have 4 names that I feel are going to give me everything that I hope that they give me. Michelle A is going to give some attitude because I know she has it in her. I saw a clip where Shantae Moore tells Little Mo, "I'm not scared of you. I'll fight you in heels." So I already know Shantae is going to give me everything that I know she's going to give, which is shocking because I wouldn't have never saw that. Little Mo, ever since I read in an interview that she went and got her dress at JCPenney's on the clearance rack and got 10% off, she's ghetto, she's hood, I like her, and I know she's going to give me everything that I know she is, and plus she's a church girl. Dawn is a diva, and so I know at some point she's going to have a diva moment, and Michelle A. Shantae Little More is not having it. But we hope that you have us next week. So unfortunately, it's time for us to go, and we'll come back next week. It was a great season for R&B Divas Atlanta, and so hopefully there is a season 3, and we'll come back and we'll do that. But for now, we have R&B Divas LA season premiere. We just did episode 1. It was a great show, and we'll be back next week. So let everyone know where we can be found on social media.
You can find me at Alfred Thomas on Facebook or All Eyes on Black on Twitter.
And you can find me at True People. That's TRUPEOPLES on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Also check out True People's Media. Thank you.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Bamm Ericsen. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next week. Bingus for doing AfterBuzz TV R&B Divas LA Season 1.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.